she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind.
Hi, Alice. Welcome again. After all our experience.
Are we going to get another wave question?
No, this one is about something else. Actually, this one is really good, but I'm not going to ask that of you. That's all right. Maybe later if we have time, because we tend to talk a little bit too much in our fan person section about what we loved and what we're dying to know. But I thought maybe we'd ask a little bit more about you before we get started into all the stuff with the book questions and the discussion questions and stuff.
I'm not prepared for that.
First of all, I know all about your unsurmountable problems because of your ocean there. But we had some people ask a little bit about your writing process. And so as far as like you go in your writing, so it doesn't necessarily have to do with your book, but what is your inspiration for this story or for writing in general? Have you always been a writer? Is this something you've done since you were very young?
No, I actually started writing only nearly 4 years ago now. And what sort of spurred it on was I suffer from anxiety. I sort of have waves of it. Maybe this is giving something away.
I'm your therapist now.
So my husband turned around and he said to me, you know, you've always thought about writing something. Why don't you just sit down? You know, you're going through this anxiety phase. Maybe try directing it to something else, something more constructive, rather than worrying about things that you have no control over. Put yourself in another's shoes, you know, write something. So what my writing process is, it's more about how I sit down and I feel, how I want to engross my mind within the characters. I have sort of a what I call a skeleton sort of draft or a plot where I know beginning, middle, end. But other than that, I sort of let the characters do their thing. So when I sit down to write, it's very much a natural process of let's see where this goes. And I know some writers suffer with writer's block, but when I haven't felt that yet, because some people say it's very strong sort of feeling where everything goes blank. We've got to stop here. You know, you lose your inspiration. I haven't felt that yet, but I think it's because I'm quite casual about my writing. I don't try not to put too much pressure on it. But then again, this is my first book, so maybe and I think maybe that's why I wrote all three of them before I published the first one, because I didn't want that pressure of you've written one. What if you can't think of anything else to do, you know, in the second book? What if you have this writer's block? What if you have this challenge and you don't know how to get through it? So I'm a bit of a plotter in that I want it all done. So I know beginning, middle, end, and then I'm just ready to. So
did I hear that you have written all three of the books?
Yeah, they're all written. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I wrote them. I think I finished writing them about a year ago, 9 months ago. So I'm just editing really books 2 and 3 right now. So hopefully I can get them out a bit quicker.
So here's my next question for you. Have you reread your first one in that time? Yeah. I'm always curious about, like, I don't know if I had ever written a book, if I'd read it again, because I'd be like, oh shoot, I gotta change that. Oh, I don't like that. I'd be like super critical of, and I'd be like, how do I republish this? That was awful. Like, I feel like the pressure would be too intense if I read it again.
I think there is that pressure. I genuinely do. And I think you've got to sort of stop yourself, because when I go through the editing process, which is one of my more challenging things, it's sort of halting myself and telling myself, no, this is as good as I think it should be, and not try and sort of listen to everyone else's opinions on how the story should be, or how the pace should be, or if there's enough romance, or is the plot fast enough, is it too slow, because everybody has different opinions. And I think I need to stop myself from taking it all in and essentially changing what I originally wrote in the first place. And I think I think that's what frightens me a little bit. As soon as you put your work out there, you kind of want to conform to what most people like. And I worry that if I take on too many opinions, it won't be authentic anymore. Maybe that's why I wrote them all already, so that people couldn't change my opinions after I wrote the first one.
This is what I mean by a stormy sea. This is what I'm talking about.
That's a really good idea.
My other question to you from that would be, if you've already written them all and you don't want to have the outside opinions, are you one of the authors who likes to take a look at their reviews? Do you read your reviews?
Yes, I do. When I first started writing, I didn't actually plan on publishing anything. These are the first things that I've ever written. Obviously, I've written them, wrote them, rewrote them, edited them, read them 50 times. You know, obviously a lot of work's gone in there. But I'm not sure really. With regards to the writing, I feel like if I change too much and I listen to too many reviews, even though I am guilty of reading the reviews like every day or refreshing them, I have to tell myself to stop, because then it's become less about how the writing was for me and more about how I worry more about what other people think than what I've thought. And I did the writing in the first place to help my anxiety. It wasn't necessarily supposed to be read by other people. Obviously, it's amazing, and I love the fact that I've published it, and I love the fact that people are enjoying it. And I am really thrilled that the book is a form of escapism for other people, because that's what I wanted it to be. That's what books were for me, and that's what I hope these will be for other people, and that they will enjoy them, they'll remember them, and it will ease the burden of everyday life for people. So yeah, that's I do read the reviews, and I do sometimes think, oh, I hope people really like it. You know, like if I get a 3-star review, I'm like, oh, is that good? Does that mean it's good? I'm not sure. Some people, for a 3, it's a solid book. Some people are like, oh no, it's not a 4 or a 5.
That's true. Some people will throw out a star rating and not explain why. I'm one of those who never shuts up, so I will give you a star rating and then I will write all about why I think so. Other people will throw. I don't know. How does everyone kind of feel about that? Because I feel like that's a little polarizing, that people say, if you can't write why you didn't enjoy it, then don't post it or don't review it. Does everyone kind of feel that that's the way it should go? Or do you think it's okay to just put star ratings out and not have to explain why?
I think if you're going to go a 3 or a under, you need to say why. I mean, if it's a 4 or a 5, well, then obviously you loved it. But if you didn't, well, then like what could be different?
So justification for a review. That's a little,
I think so.
More medium to lower side.
Yeah.
Me personally, if
sometimes
like I don't enjoy something, I don't rate it myself. Like I won't put because it may be something that someone else loves, you know.
I agree.
Sometimes
100%.
the lower reviews can be constructive, can't they? Sometimes I
think
read
there's a
lower
fine line.
reviews, and they might. It's something that someone might not like. I might be looking for that. So if they say, "Well, I didn't like it because I don't like this trope," for example, but that's my favorite trope, or that's my favorite, then that will encourage me to then read it. So yeah, I think people should write why if they can, but obviously not everyone has the time to sort of sit there and write a review for everybody, especially people who read tens of books each month. That I'm just like, I think one lady posted about 80 books, and it's incredible. It's incredible.
I think
There's people on Goodreads that put stuff and they write like really hurtful things. So I think that there's a very fine line between constructive criticism and just being mean.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I know that the reviews affect authors' bottom lines, and that's become more and more apparent as I've gotten involved in the book community. And so personally, if it's a 2 or a 1 to me, I just don't review it. But if it's a 3,
same.
I try to put the review out there, but I also try to frame it in the context of I like this book for this reason, because a 3 to me is a solid book. It just means that I wasn't maybe in love with it. A 5 to me is like, that book is my life. That book is my personality. I'm going to own multiple copies of that book, probably some book merch. And kind of the 3 is like, it was good. It was a solid book, but I'm not going to, I wouldn't gift it to a friend. I would, so, but I do try to put in there like what wasn't my cup of tea, right? Because I know that every book is not for every person. And so if there's something in there that I'm like, it wasn't really my thing, but you might like it. So maybe go pick it up and see for yourself. That's just
yeah, I agree. If it's a not finished, then I would never read it.
But Alice, to your point, there are some books where I have read them specifically because of bad reviews, where I'm like, oh, that's fun. Let me go grab that book because that looks amazing.
So Alice, do you write to tropes, or tropes happen as you write?
They happen as I write. I don't. If I'm being totally honest, before I was thinking about publishing, I wasn't really on social media. I didn't really know much about tropes. I knew sort of some of the larger tropes, the more used tropes, but I didn't realise there was such an extensive list of tropes. And I actually found out more tropes that my book fell into as it was arc read, rather than me sort of trying to make it trope based. I think tropes are good. I think if you stick to them too much, maybe, because I've heard a few people say that this maybe is too trope heavy for a story. It's maybe too predictable sometimes.
Also, then like writing to the trope.
Yes,
like I need to have all of these in this book. I'm going to put them in this book, and then becomes
no, I wouldn't say I write like that. I sort of I write quite organically. I just sort of see how it plays out as I'm in the zone, as a lot of writers say. And it's a weird thing to say because it's really hard to explain, but you're typing, and then it just sort of flows in your mind, like where this scene's going, or what arguments are they having, or what challenges are the characters facing.
I was just going to say, I asked you that question having read your book, not thinking it felt that way at all. So I expected you to say you didn't write to tropes, because although of course we can put a label on everything, it didn't feel that way to me at all. Okay, we need to ask questions about this book, please. We have some spoilery questions. You don't have to answer us. Let me just say that. But they have like, if you're like, this is the next book.
Oh no, I feel like I need to be careful with what I say now.
You don't have to. I promise. You don't have to. I think Bethany and Aoife haven't finished it, or they might be wary of the spoilers. But if you need to say that's book 2 or 3, it's okay. That's okay. All right. So since everyone's letting me ask the questions, I'm going to ask you my most important and pressing question, which is, I sent you that picture of Daddy Vilner, and you laughed at me, and I need to know what he's supposed to look like if it's not that.
When you sent it to me, I'm just sometimes so shocked when people send me things and they're like, is this a character in your book? That I laugh a bit nervously. I'm like, oh my God, someone's done that. Someone's, associated a picture with these characters that I've created. And it's a really lovely thing. What does he look like? There are features there. The broody scowls are definitely there.
I have to say some things, so for the recording, it'll pick up on my absolutely picture perfect fan casting of Danny Vilner right there. Because then I was like, holy crap, is it? Am I going to say it correctly if it's Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and why is it Lee Pace? It has to be Lee Pace. No? Let me show you. Hold on, everybody. Number 1 is already an elf. Let me start. He already has white hair. And he's freaking gorgeous as can be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
There he is. Okay, hold on. I got it. Yep, there you go, internet. You're welcome for a little morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. But I was like, that is Aaron. Why I'm asking this? I'm a very visual person. I need that. Now, obviously, hold on. Everybody hear me out. Let me pull up the cover for the book. Don't laugh at me already.
Too late.
Oh,
It's right here.
Okay, so
Oh yes, I've got mine.
Right,
They're
bring
behind
it.
me.
It's behind her too.
all right. And why is that just Alice?
Hmm?
That's just Alice. Now that I see you, I'm like, that's Alice. All right, so we got Spider-Man Man, we got Lee Pace, and we got Alice. But Monroe, who is
Oh yeah.
everybody's favorite. I don't think anyone. I was a Daddy Vilner, and everyone was like, "I'm sorry, Monroe." So there we go. See, so, Monroe. Is he Henry Cavill? You're gonna get everybody if it's Henry Cavill.
I'd be happy if any of them were him.
Because that one feels right too. You have to always throw it in somewhere. So I have a question later to that. But do you have like a fan cast in your mind of who everybody is? Thank you, Casey.
No, not really at the moment. I haven't given it much thought, to be honest, of who I would have play in a movie or TV show. Who, I've even I haven't even had any sort of pictures and things drawn, any sort of fan art or anything like that yet. So actually, this is a great conversation. It's given me so many ideas to have something drawn.
I have been the only one to give you ideas.
Would you want it to be a movie or a TV show?
I'd probably say a movie, just because you get the better effects. So especially when they're casting spells and things like that, and the demons and monsters, and as you just showed, Lord of the Rings. I mean, that's incredible. So probably a movie, I'd say.
We definitely made a Lord of the Rings comment a couple times in our group chat.
Yeah. It's very very Lord of the Rings vibes to me, in such a good way.
Yeah, I love the idea of like this sort of quest, and I watched Lord of the Rings so many times, and even like the Rings of Power and things like that, and I just love these worlds that they create and these characters, and there's a bit of influence there from just obviously the dressing and everything like that, and even things like when I was watching the Rings of Power, I think was it last year, or might have been the year before when it came out. And just the scenes that they depict and things like that, they're just so magical, and it's hard not to be inspired when you see things like that, when you watch things like that. So regarding inspiration for characters or for settings or plots, it's an amalgamation of things, I think, that create these individual worlds in all these books. And I suppose it's nice that they've all got their sort of individualities about them. I don't know what you found when you read my book, but did any how I described any place sort of resonate with you? Did you have a picture of something you'd already seen sort of creep up, as a farm, for example, or, even like the mountainscape of Oromos? Have you seen like any sort of mountains? Like, I've been snowboarding, so that's where I sort of got the idea for the mountains and things like that from. So
as far as settings go, I think it was hard for me. I made your aesthetic reel, and I was like, there's portals, but they're not quite portals in my mind, which would be like an oval shaped mirror type thing, which is typical in fantasy lore. Like the portals, I love the idea that there was one in like a marsh that was just like in the reeds she had to dismantle. I love that you could find them anywhere. And I love that she's the key to all these worlds all at one time. I think that is, like, if you're going to be a chosen one, that's pretty dang cool. I really, really liked that. But I think for me, as far as settings goes, and anyone chime in, it's a lot of, very Rivendell, and a lot of like just sweeping mountainsides, and I don't know, it was such a just fantasy to me, that it was like any of the fantasy realms I've seen. Hobbiton, basically New Zealand. I guess I'm describing New Zealand.
Yeah.
Seems good. Green and pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live in a place like that. So to me,
No, but I mean, you just take ideas from different things, whether it's what you watch on TV or it's where you go, or it's you know, some people are artists, some people enjoy fan art, some people read graphic novels. You know, everything that you experience on a day-to-day basis just can sort of create these places. Oh, well, that's what I find.
Did I see that Carrie's doing fan art for this book? Did I read that wrong, Carrie?
Ooh, I love that.
But
yeah,
that would
fan
be
art is happening. Fan art is currently in the works.
Oh, that's exciting. I just said I don't have any, so throwing that out there.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm saying no more. Just have to wait.
I know a lot of people in the chats were talking about the insults that Aria used. Everybody loved them.
I highlighted them all. The insults are fabulous. So that was my other question. Is you have these. Let me give them to the group for just a moment. And Carrie, I don't want to overshadow your amazing announcement of doing fan art. I can't wait to see it. I have them in my Kindle. I have them here. Hold on just a second. I pulled them up and now they're gone. But I don't know. Careful, YouTube or wherever we're posting this. It's not exactly appropriate. But I love the. Okay, so first of all, banter between Grandpa and Monroe. One of my favorite parts of the whole entire book, that he's always like always insulting him. In general, the dramatic interfering snowball, the sorry excuse for an elf. Like he couldn't help himself. He's just like, what about you, lazy toad? And I had, what was the other one? I don't know. I think it's in my Kindle, but it was like a cat. Oh no. I left my Kindle out in the living room and I'm afraid if I go out there, my child will see me. So. Did I put it in the chat? I think I have it in the chat.
You did. You put it in the chat.
Because I was like, if I start using this, it's too niche for me. People will be like, what are you talking about?
That's Simpleton General.
That one is Amber's. I might have to go out into the living room and
Yeah,
get
but you
There's
put it in there too.
Great gaping bullocks balls. Or
it.
sorry. Sorry, YouTube.
That one is so good.
You smell like a water possum's rear end.
There you go. The water. I was like, now we're making up animals too.
The funny thing is, when I was writing these, and because obviously when you write a whole book, you don't really remember necessarily, especially on the first draft, what you've put into it. So when I was going back and then rereading it, I was laughing at some of my own, and then realizing these are some of my own jokes from the characters. But I find them funny, so I hoped other people would find them funny.
I love that.
But I just didn't. I think when I was doing that, I did that with a bit of a purpose. I didn't want to just put the usual, the usual, language in there, just because this was a different world. And also sometimes I find it a bit harsh sometimes if you're using certain words. Sometimes I find them a bit jarring to read, only with certain stories. Obviously, if it fits into the theme and the tone, then absolutely fine. But I just felt with my story, I thought if I just use usual swear words or anything like that in the story, I thought it was a bit jarring. So I took it as an opportunity to try and make up these.
A little bit more contemporary, and the feel of the book was not a contemporary vibe if they're out here calling people things outside of a water possum's rear end. I feel like that felt really appropriate to the book, and I loved it. I highlighted them all. I'm so sad because I'm like, these are so creative. So
but it's going to be used in future. I
love that out of the grandpa's mouth, no matter what, he was like, that ridiculous idiot.
I really enjoyed writing them characters, and what I find funny is obviously the grandfather is the younger of the two, but he gives off the vibe that he's that Monroe's the child and he's obviously the adult. which I find quite funny. So,
So which character was your favorite to write? Do you have one?
Which was my favourite? I enjoyed writing Monroe. I enjoyed the fun aspect that he brings, the laughter that him and Jacoby bring. Who I enjoyed writing, I'd probably say Vilna. I do like a villain. I like the complexities of a villain. I like the progress of a villain. So yeah, I'd probably say he was my favourite to write. I don't know how that translates with what you read, who you found was your favourites. Was it all just Monroe?
I don't know. I liked them all.
I think they
They're
all work
all,
well.
I
I tried
felt,
to make it
equally
so they
fun.
all sort of added different things.
Mhm.
I like the fact that Aria's character, she's surrounded by all these experienced people, and she provided that sort of that edge of innocence. I like that you have Aaron, who's very to the light. Everything's to the light. Everything has to be done this way, so we maintain this status quo in his home world, and that's what he puts first. But in that way, he's quite black and white. He struggles to see sort of anything in between. I liked Vilna just because he was such a contrast, and obviously villains are interesting characters. And then Monroe and Jacoby, I thought, brought a bit of fun. So I tried to sort of balance it, I think, with all the different characters that I brought in, which I hope resonated when you read it, that you had a bit from each of them.
I don't think, I'm pretty sure as a group, we can all agree that one of our things everyone kept saying was, I love the writing style. I love the dialogue style and how it's kind of old medievally. And we love the character development. The character development was very, very good. I felt like they all had true and easy character arcs that you expected for them. And they weren't nuts. They weren't jarring. They were all really well-developed characters, to the point where if you kill off any of them, they will make me very, very sad. Again, you don't need to tell us spoilers, but Vilner is my favorite. Who would have guessed? And I think he's really complex. I think he's got this whole, between the oath and or curse that he kind of has, that ties him to Oromos. Did I say it correctly? And that he has all of a sudden this like grumpy sunshine kind of thing going on, where he now has to grow because he's been forced to. I don't want to give him away. By the way, my favorite line in the whole entire book was when he noticed what she was, and he was like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Wilder, you are my favorite."
Yes.
So good.
That was favorite chapter when he looks at her. Oh my gosh, I lost.
Yes.
That's so good. And I can't wait to figure out that whole dynamic. That makes me very excited as a reader to know where that one is going, especially because we have a mix. And I love his name.
You try and get stuff out of me. I know what you're trying to do.
Hey, I can talk to you anytime. I have a phone.
So no, I'm pleased, and I think part of when I was writing it was I didn't want what I planned to happen to be overly predictable. I hope it wasn't that predictable when certain things occurred. I hope they were a surprise. That's what I was aiming for. So I hope people were surprised by certain things.
No, I thought it was.
Oh, yeah.
No, I wasn't sure where that was going. When it happened, I was like, "What?"
I think I audibly gasped at that point.
There's ties, and then what? So no, I thought that was great. And then the way you brought it out with him and humor, and what the hell is he going to do now? Absolutely perfect. Perfect. I love that it wasn't like the growing, warmy, fuzzy. No, it was just like,
Bam.
Yes.
And then we have a few more minutes to talk about I don't know what you could tell us about it, but someone wanted to know the significance of, is it valore or valor? The ancient. Okay. Again, wasn't sure about that one, so that's a no-no. Alice, I hate to ask you this question because it's so on brand for us, but is book 2 going to have spice?
I don't know to tell you or not.
We're all going to read it anyway.
I think that's a yes.
Okay.
No, I reserve the right not to answer just because, as I said, I want you to be surprised by certain things. So
I respect it. I don't have to like it. I respect it.
No.
All right, so my question to the group before we allow you to ask us questions. We are going to play a little bit of a more internet-friendly jargon, screw, marry, kill, between Vilner, Monroe, and Aaron.
Mm.
I'm stressed.
Can't be done.
Can't be done.
Think about it. Give it a thought. I have already thought of this, so I can talk while y'all are thinking. Because I am obviously marrying Monroe. I am obviously screwing Daddy Vilner. And I hate to kill Aaron, but he's a little too tight-laced for me. He's Lee Pace, and that's wonderful. He's beautiful. I'll watch him. I'll look at him.
Just stare at him from afar.
I will take a look. He'll give me this face, and then I'll just take him down. And that'll be okay. I'll be sad about it. Anyone have different answers? Who is screwing who? Who is marrying who? Ooh,
I'll give you different ones.
Sarah?
I will. Let's see. Screw Aaron, marry Vilner, kill Monroe. Yeah. I know.
I don't know if we can be friends.
I know.
I don't know if we can do it.
I'll give you a different one, but I'm gonna have to phrase it okay for those who don't want spoilers. So I'd screw Monroe because I feel like that would just be a fun time, and then you're like, got you out of my system. I'd marry Aaron just because I feel like there's stability there long term over time, but we definitely have our battles to like. You're gonna have to get over some of your stuff. But then I'd kill Vilnor, but only if things go the way that the end of the book went, and we all think that it went. Out of necessity for my love for him. Does that make sense? Without saying too much for those who haven't read.
I feel like
answer.
you're bringing logic into this, and I'm not happy about it.
Where my brain goes, Anna.
I literally can't pick. It's too hard.
Mary is like screw, Mary.
Just have them all.
No one
have
dies
them
in
all.
this scenario.
It's gonna be marry Vilner, screw Monroe, kill Aaron. Monroe just strikes me as someone who knows what he's doing. What he's doing.
I feel like Monroe's your why not guy. Hey, you want it? Why not?
Why not?
I feel like if you have Monroe's heart, you have him for life. I don't feel like he's a strayer. He's my man. But Vilner be a real good time. Because Daddy, I can fix him. Promise. Bethany, are you sharing? Anyone?
Oh, I feel the same as you.
Thank you, Casey. It wasn't a contest.
I don't know yet, so I don't want to. I don't want to.
Bethany doesn't know.
I'm not sure yet. Like I don't know.
We don't want to commit too early. Don't commit too early.
No, I don't want to make a decision yet. And now I'm intrigued.
And I can't ask Eva because she's like halfway through, kind of. And I feel like things are going to change.
That's even. But yeah, same. I'm not going to commit yet.
Alice, do you want to play this game, or is it like killing off your children?
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah, I think it would be.
I mean,
I
we
love
did
them all too much in a weird sort of maternal way.
So when is the next book out? Please.
I'm hoping it'll be out around early November time.
Ooh.
So that's my aim.
Casey, did you want to say something, or was it? Oh no, okay.
No, I thought it was the emoji thing.
Okay. So, Alice, what are your questions for us?
One of them was, what did you want to see more of in book 2? Whether it be a certain world, a certain person, a certain arc, a certain anything really.
I actually no, I actually thought it was a lot today, because I was like, what do I want from book 2? I really want to see the fallout of what happens to Arya, because a big thing happens and then we all just kind of what? And so I really want to know, how does she handle that? I'm very curious about, because it was so quick for her before they have to go do this other adventure. What is that transition, or like, how does that work for her? I am really interested in knowing what kind of stuff is going on with her. So that's my answer.
I just need to know, who's the pappy? Who are her parents? Like, where is all this coming from? Where I need to know her superhero or villain, depending on how this goes, backstory. Like, I need more of that.
This is interesting. I'm making notes. I
also love some of the personality things that you spun in there. Like, I know you mentioned the comments that made you guys squeal, but for me, the one that made me laugh the most is they're at the epic battle scene and she's like hobbling up and it's like, "'Tis not my best day." And I'm like, same girl. I love those little bits that you put in there all the time, and I'd love to see more of that.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Oh yes, I'm hoping the banter will still be there. I mean, our favourite mage.
Casey said that she'd like to see. Casey was saying that she'd like to see Monroe get with Lady Floral. Florio? I just want to see that interaction.
I don't think he can be tamed, Monroe. I think he wants something for a little while, and then he's like, "Whoop, something else." What else? I wanted to ask as well, if you could learn more about one of the characters, which one are you more desperate to learn more about?
Jacoby.
Vilner for me.
Yeah, more of his background.
Yeah.
I want to know how Jacoby got some child.
Yeah,
he just got a baby on. And so I feel like he's got some stuff where he's high up someplace or something happened here. I want to know how that came to be.
Like a prequel.
A little,
I'm so excited by this, because I'm like, well, I've written it. I've got these answers for you, but I can't tell you. But I want you to know so we can talk about it, but I can't tell you. But yeah, a lot of these, which I'm quite pleased about, should be answered in the upcoming book. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. But I don't want to give anything right. I'm really worried about what I might say in case I might say something. So I'm like really trying to not say anything. But the rest of them are written, so they're there. It's just a case of getting the editing done.
Do the details kind of blur between books for you a little bit? So you're not sure if what you said in book 1 was in book 2?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, originally when I actually wrote these, I wrote them in instead of as a trilogy, I wrote them in 4 different sections. But books essentially, but they were all shorter. And I was like, no, I think I'd prefer if they were a trilogy. And for me, sometimes the lines are a bit blurred between where one starts and one finishes. So I'm just, whenever you ask me a question, I'm like, did that happen in the first book? What happened in the first book? What am I? Because obviously at the moment I'm like madly editing book 2, so I'm a bit like, talk about book 2, focus on book 1. Book 1's the one we're talking about. But yeah, I think there is sometimes a bit of an overlap, and I mean, also when I am editing, I think one of the hardest challenges is trying to pull myself away from just being in my own head, knowing the story, knowing the characters, knowing the plot, and looking at it like it's a fresh piece of work, because that's how everyone else is going to read it. If, you know, my brain will write off if there's a plot hole, because I know what the whole plot is. I know what all the characters should not be doing, but it's really hard to see that when you're editing your own work. Obviously, I do have an editor as well, but when I do my own edits before then, that's quite a challenge. But yeah, hopefully I don't slip up.
Did anyone else want to answer what they wanted to see out of book 2? I don't want anyone to not have the opportunity to talk to Alice about that. No. Okay. Good. Cool.
Everyone's probably frightened to say anything now. No, we don't want to prompt her. Do not prompt her.
Do not provoke.
I just see, but
Yeah.
yes. Are you going to send arcs out? Is that a plan of yours?
Yes, I'm hoping to send some arcs out. So I'm you'll hopefully hear in the next few weeks, because I'd love you to be arc readers if you'd like to be. So that would be really exciting. And it would be great to see what you think. And I hope you enjoy it as much, if not more, than the first book.
Please tag us so that I don't lose it. I try to scroll through there, but there's so much stuff on the internet. So please tag me or send it to me in the chat, and I'll make sure I pass it along to everybody, and make sure that we'll all apply and do all the things, because there's one thing our group loves, and it's an arc special for us. I have people that they're like, I didn't read the first one, I'm applying. So excited to help.
Please read the first one as well, because if there is a plot hole,
I agree with
have to
you.
tell me.
Am I helping you make your form? Did you read book 1? Please don't bother if you didn't. There have been a few where I'm like, I have 4 books to read before this comes out, and I'm gonna do it, and I do it. That's okay.
I've done it once.
Yeah, it's okay. It works out. I ended up loving it, so that worked out totally fine for me. And I feel like this book in particular, I don't see any bad reviews. I mean, I went on Goodreads today, but everyone loves this book. So I really think everyone will continue to love your next one. Do you have any more questions for us?
What was a book highlight for you? Whether it was a quote, a scene, a character, what was the highlight of it? I mean, was it the escapism? Was it how did it make you feel? Was it a fun read? Was it a gritty read? Not that I would think it would be a gritty read, but you know, some people, the gore was mentioned a couple of times. Not that it's, I don't know what you guys think. Is it overly gory?
No.
I've had it. This is the problem with reading reviews. This is because now I'm thinking, is it overly gory?
No.
It was appropriate. Totally appropriate.
Right. This book reads like an epic. Like you.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But this is the problem. This is the part of the reviewing thing, and I suppose that's probably why I'm quite glad that I did write all of them already, just because I would be tempted to be like, oh, should I pull back on certain things, or should I add more certain things? But no, I think as long as you all think it's good, my ARC readers.
Well, I see that Casey wouldn't mind being your beta reader if you wanted one.
Maybe.
See, 1 to 10.
I didn't actually have any beta readers when I did this book.
Wow.
Do you? I'm very impressed by that. But do you want beta readers for your second one?
As I said to you, I didn't even have Instagram or TikTok or anything. I had Facebook, which I've had since I was about 18, 16, something like that. But this is all very new to me. So when they were saying things like, oh, ARCs, sending ARCs out, I didn't know what an ARC was. I didn't, beta reader, nope, skip that step completely, just got it sent out. So this is all, I'm learning on the job here. But in a really good way. And this community has been really lovely, and it's been great meeting everyone, and just feeling that support. And also just talking everything books, as I haven't really had that many people who I can talk to about whether it just be my book or other books. And since having this, it's actually been a really nice platform to meet people and talk about it. So you've made it a really nice experience for me. So I'm very grateful.
We're very grateful for you. If you do decide that you want beta readers, message me. I'll message the people that like to do that for you. I already see hands.
Right here.
I get a bit nervous. I'm like, at what point do you send? I mean, if it's not how I think it should be, I get a bit nervous sending it out. Maybe not a perfectionist, but I like it to be a certain way before it's sent out. Whether it is, I even like small punctuation errors really annoy me. So if you see any, please just send me a message. No, I will get it.
That question would be great for our resident author, Aoife, who uses beta readers. There she is.
I've currently got at least 2 people here beta reading for me, because they're amazing. And it's lovely, to be honest, because it gives you that space and a bit of a confidence boost before you then send it out to ARC readers, and you can address any issues because you're so close to it yourself, So it's really helpful exercise.
Yeah. Oh well, you're all going to get a message soon, I'm sure. We'll be like, oh, good grief, it's Alice again. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Oh,
Someone
darn.
help her.
You're going to have to make us all sign some disclosure form to secrecy as well if we decide to be beta readers.
Yes, no giving things away.
This group here. All right, so we have a giveaway that we need to do in the last 2 minutes before we finish.
Okay. So we have, there we go, a lovely little wrapped book, if I can get it out. Here we go.
Thank you for sending things.
Yes. So we have a signed book from Alice, and I will show you what it looks like because I have my own signed book from her because I was so obsessed with it. Little bookmark. And her beautiful signature. So you can see that. And then we also have a candle, bookish candle from Apothecary 19. Comes in this cute little jar, and they smell amazing.
So good.
It's just incredible. And then we have some custom bracelets that Crystal makes for us, and she puts phrases from the actual book on here. So this is from our last box that I'm going to be sending out, but they're all custom made. It's really fun. And then we have some fun stickers. So I will be including all of that in the box. And where did my phone just go? Oh no. I lost my phone. There it is. Okay. Now let's see what. Oh, and then I have some other little goodies that I add in there as well.
Yeah, they look cute. The ones that I've seen go out look really cute. Laura handles all that.
Number 8, Rachel.
Yay!
Woo!
Yay! So I will DM you after all of this is done and get your information. Congratulations.
Well, Alice, thank you so much for joining our club today.
Oh, thank you for
we
having
did have
me.
a few more readers than this, but not everyone was able to join. But we'll put this on YouTube so that they can see it. I know we have a few people that really like to watch them when we're done. So thank you so much. And if you have questions for us or if you want any insights, all of us I know would be happy to talk to you about anything regarding your book. We loved your book. It was fabulous. I can't wait for book 2. Oh my gosh, this fall is going to be fab.
Oh, so excited.
Yes, thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And please contact us if you need us.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you guys so much for doing all this. It's been a really lovely experience. I really appreciate it. And I'll be looking forward to that fan art.
Yes.
I will
wait
be
to see
bugging you.
I get scared doing it though, because I'm like, what if I'm like completely imagining them? But it's fine.
I'm sure it'll be amazing. It'll be
It's
amazing.
your interpretation. That's all that matters.
That's very true. Well, it's coming within the next month. So I've already started 2 pieces.
Oh, it's exciting.
So exciting, Carrie. Well, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho.